Hey guys, and welcome back to the Midnight Channel. So I spent the last 3-4 days watching the Titans show. I actually binge watched the entire thing. Actually, it was like 2 days. Well, I don't think it was. I don't think it was that long. Anyway, so I binge watched the whole thing, and I rewatched a couple episodes here and there. And now that I thought about everything and all my feelings, I wanted to do a formal review on it. So when it first came out, it had a lot of negativity and a lot of stuff that a lot of people didn't like, such as the way that some of the characters looked, such as the way some of the characters acted and everything. But then after the show completely came out, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. Like, I've seen YouTubers review it and everything, but I haven't heard people on the internet outraged or anything anymore. I haven't heard somebody talking about it and everything. So I just wanted to talk about it and everything. Formal review. I'll divide it in different sections like I always do. Now, one thing I always do is I always start with the story and I switch to characters, and then I move on to the performance and everything. But this time around, I'm actually going to switch it around. I'm going to talk about characters first and then story, and there's the reason why. Okay, so going into this, I completely and entirely knew this wasn't going to be the Teen Titans show remake. This was going to be the Titans show based on the Titans comic. If you haven't read a comic from the Titans, then you might be kind of disappointed or maybe not understanding why some of the things that happens and everything. But to me, as a fan and as somebody who has read the comics before, I actually wasn't too disappointed in a lot of stuff. I like some of the stuff that they added and everything. So one of the things that I like, I want to start with this character first. It's going to be Dick Grayson, the Robin. And one of the things that I liked about this Dick Grayson is there are so many layers that don't really show in shows or anything like that before, and I loved it. I loved how they carried the character and everything, because even on the Teen Titans show, he kind of was like a one-dimensional character. He does have a little bit of an arc, but it's not as good as in this one. In this one, he has a complete arc. You know, this is a story of two characters in this. Well, three different characters really. Raven, which is kind of like the character which most of the story is centered around, Dick Grayson, which has her own story, and Kory, who is Starfire on this, but we'll get to Starfire in a second. So as far as Dick Grayson goes, like I said, his character arc is wonderful. I really like the way that they carry his character around. Overall, I feel like he was really well represented. The actor who did Dick Grayson did a great job. He looks like Dick Grayson. He acted like Dick Grayson, and you can see this transition of going from Robin to Nightwing, which is really what I feel like in second season. That's what they want to do and everything. So pretty cool, really cool stuff there. I really like the way that they did that transition. Let's talk about Raven, because Raven is one of the things that I think a lot of people were kind of like iffy about, and this Raven is very different from the one in the Teen Titans, but maybe a little bit, it's kind of like a mixture in between different characters. I think this Raven, a little bit from Raven in the show, but also a little bit of Raven from the comics, and then a little bit of Raven from, you know, the show, you know. So like he has like different layers of her and everything. This is a much younger Raven, but she still faces a lot of the same issues that she does on the character arc with her father and everything. And no worries, no spoilers, so I'm not gonna disclose any of the stuff that happens in the show, but I do want to say that the transition from her character going through somebody that is just scared and kind of just growing and confused and everything to what he gets up until the end, it's pretty interesting. I like the way that they carry that transition there. Pretty well made and everything. I thought that it was a pretty cool way to handle it. Overall, I felt like it was pretty good. And then let's talk about now Starfire, who I think that was one of the ones that had the biggest issue about. A lot of people had an issue with her character design. A lot of people had an issue with that she was black and all kinds of stuff like that. And look, I didn't have issues with it as much as other people did, because she's an alien, so we for sure don't know what she looks like. You know, like we know from the comics, but she's orange, so it doesn't really matter as much to me. And I thought her character looked okay. You know, I didn't think she looked good, but I didn't think she looked bad. You know, it's kind of like, it's fine, I guess. But as far as the actress who portrayed her, it was fine. She did an okay job with what they was given. I feel like her character didn't make sense based on the comics and based on the TV show. They kind of wanted to fit her on this, the narrative or the story, and I'll go to the story in a second. So it was a little bit weird the way that they did it. It was fine the way that they did it. She lost her memories and she's like slowly learning her past and everything. But a lot of things that she does are really out of character within what they already built her, because they built her a certain way, and some of the stuff was kind of a little bit weird. So let's talk about Beast Boy, because I actually like Beast Boy here. Beast Boy is probably one of the characters, just like as Dick Grayson, that were kind of like really well transferred over from the shows and from the comics. Kind of like I think they did a pretty good job. It was a little bit weird that he was in green all the time, because he's supposed to be green all the time. But his character arc was smaller than the other ones. I think he had less screen time than everybody else, but it was still well built, and I liked a lot of stuff. You can see some of his struggles, but not everything. Not like Starfire, not like Dick Grayson, not like Raven, because all three of them had a bigger character arc than he did. But he was fine. You know, he didn't have a terrible one or anything like that. So overall, I want to give 2 good ones and 2 kind of okay. So I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 on characters. I think that they did an okay job kind of bringing the team together, so to speak. All the different characters, some better represented than others. Dick Grayson, for example, had a really good character arc, while somebody like Beast Boy didn't. He had an okay, but it wasn't well developed. So let's now talk about the story. And the reason why I switch this around is because the story is fine. It's not good, but it's not bad either. They have an excellent way of bringing the story together, and the reason for that is the characters. The characters really move this story forward, because as far as the story goes, it's a back and forth between all the stuff that happened to Dick Grayson before everything happened, and now with characters like Beast Boy and Starfire and Raven, and their own motivations, their own stuff, their own struggles, and kind of like all blends up together. It's kind of one of those stories that everybody started to get connected with each other and everything. That was fine. There was a little bit of plot armor here and there when characters should have died out of normal circumstances, but they had to be alive for plot devices and everything. So I always have an issue when that happens, but it's really common on comic book stories and everything. But I felt it was fine as far as that. So the biggest issue that I had with this story here is the stakes get risen, but then get lowered, and they get risen, and they get lowered, and that kind of damages the overall story, because some parts you're kind of like concerned about something, but then you know that everybody's gonna be fine in the end because they have a next episode or whatever. There's a lot of surprise characters here that I didn't know about. I'm not gonna discuss any of them, but I was pretty surprised. Some of them were more shocking than others, and I was super shocked because none of this stuff was announced or anything like that. And obviously the thing that I really liked is the world building, because they did such an amazing job. I think they even did a better job than Marvel does on their TV shows, or a kind of about the same as how Marvel does it on the TV shows. That's how good it was. So for example, we have somebody like Batman and Gotham that they get mentioned a lot. But not only that, but in different episodes they talk about Wonder Woman, they talk about Superman. But it's not intrusive to the show, because the show is so like small scale that you wouldn't wonder, why is Batman not doing anything about it? Why is Superman not doing whatever? Because nothing is super big. Like the stakes aren't risen to the top where you have to worry about that kind of stuff. Like why isn't one of the Justice League members doing whatever? They talk about the Justice League, they talk about all kinds of stuff like that, but within the story is so put together where it's really well done there. So I'll also give the story an 8 out of 10. Pretty good job there too as well. Definitely was really happy at how they handled it. So now we're going to move about performance. And performance, as far as all the actors did a pretty good job portraying the characters. Somebody like Starfire, for example, the actors did a good job. It wasn't a character that was kind of just not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, because whenever everybody was talking about Starfire and how she looked and everything, honestly, once you start watching the show, you forget about the issues that people had with it. Whether it was because she was black or the way that she looked or whatever, a lot of people had issues with it. But at the end of the day, whenever you move through it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what she looked like. The actress did a good job with what she was given. Because let me tell you, the actress didn't write the story. She just performs what she gets. And whether it was a good story or whether she was a good character or not, the actress delivered what she was given. The issue what I had was the relationship between Robin and her. It wasn't as well portrayed as they could have been. One of the things that I had a problem with was it kind of just happened all of a sudden. Like episode, I think it's like episode like 5 or 6. They just kind of just like make out, and I'm kind of like, when did this happen? When did they start liking each other? Because that didn't happen before. Like they hated each other's guts, and all of a sudden they have like one good moment that we're talking about like personal stuff, and then suddenly they kiss, and I'm kind of like, that where'd that come from? That was weird. But other than that, all the characters did a great job. Dick Grayson, Robin, whoever the actor is, did such a great job with the character. It was just phenomenal. Robin, 10 out of 10. Everybody else, okay. The actors that did Beast Boy and all the other characters that are not main characters but kind of supporting characters and everything also did a good job. So as far as the music and everything, the music is just so generic, and I don't know what's up with DC. They keep putting these pop songs and like all rock and some stuff in the songs. They just like keep on doing that. They did it in the Marvel's Superman. They did it in the Suicide Squad a lot, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit within DC comics. Like it just doesn't. They did it in Aquaman too, and they did like Africa or whatever in Aquaman, and that was kind of like so out of tone. You know, like they did this here too. I don't know what's up with DC and the stuff. They just need to drop that altogether. Warner Bros., please just drop that crap. Like it doesn't work with DC. It works on Marvel because Marvel is like more playful and stuff like that. But DC, especially the DC that they already built, is so dark that it doesn't make sense. And in the Titans, it does too. Like all the characters have like this light-hearted moment and everything, but in that moment, it was either like they should put a pop song there. It's just doesn't make any sense. It's just, and the Suicide Squad is the worst criminal of all. Like that movie it was just a giant ad for songs. That didn't make sense. But as far as that, I'm gonna give performance 7 out of 10. Like I said, overall, I was impressed with the acting, but as far as the music choice and the way that it looked fine. They tried to copy the style of the movies. Bad choice. I hate the way the Snyder did their everything just grayscaled and really dark and everything. It doesn't need to be like that. DC is not a dark universe. The comics aren't dark. They're actually really bright, and there are some characters like Starfire or like Beast Boy that aren't dark characters. Starfire is such a bright character that is sort of surprising how they did it on this one. And Beast Boy too, he's just a playful character and everything. He had that here, but because everything is just so dark, like some jokes don't land well and everything, so it's just kind of out of place a little bit. So overall, I'm gonna give Titans Season 1 an 8 out of 10. Like I said, if you look at this through the lens of somebody that hasn't watched the Teen Titans show, or somebody that has read the comics before, this is actually pretty good in some of the characters. I think most of the stuff was pretty well done, but there were some choices there that didn't make sense as far as the direction and everything. But I'm willing to give it a chance. Hopefully the next season's gonna fix some of the stuff that they started here. But I recommend this. This isn't a bad show by all means, and I want this to even though I had some issues, I feel like if you have the $7.99 to watch the show, you don't even have to pay $7.99. I think I only did the trial for like 7 days, and I watched it in like 2 days, so you can definitely, it's doable. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this. I'd recommend watching the show. Like I said, I'll leave a link here for you can subscribe if you want to. And please, thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.